Alright, hold my calls. I'm back again, I intend to offend ya. So freak the love stuff, cause baby I'll bend your ass over a bench. So clench your fist and shout, Mark's the man, indeed I am. Thanks for the assist, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle this. Wiggle hips like a bigger mist on his honeymoons. I'm vigorous, some say rigorous. Went on skins and just when I think I'm out, they pull me back in. What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. You've heard of dad bods. You've heard of dad humor. That was a dad rhyme, okay? That was like over 20 years ago. That's what I do, guys. I have them in a notebook someplace. I barely got breath control. You should be clapping for this old man. But anyway, check it out. Let's get into the topic of this particular video. And this is about the DCU. I have done nothing about the DCU since James Gunn took over, but this seems like a good a time as any because we have some news about veteran comic book writer, legendary. We got Chuck Dixon. If your comic book collection does not contain runs by Chuck Dixon, you ain't got no comic book collection. I'm sorry to tell you. Take a lighter to it, burn it. It's worth nothing. But Chuck Dixon has some very, very interesting thoughts on the DCU under James Gunn. Now, James Gunn has just released his slate of upcoming DC projects, and I'm gonna read some of this crap for you. All right, you can tell me how you feel about these things, whether or not you're excited about this in the comment section. Go. Film projects: Superman Legacy, The Authority, The Brave and the Bold, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Swamp Thing. And then we move into television projects. The other one was films. Supposedly that's coming to a big screen near you. Television projects include Creature Commandos, Waller, starring Oscar winner Viola Davis, previously of The Woman King. We are the homie. Booster Gold, Lanterns, and Paradise Lost. Guys, how come the television projects all sound like reality shows? Paradise Lost, Booster Gold, Creature Commandos. I don't know, seems a little bit underwhelming to me, but like I said, you guys let me know how you feel about this. However, the topic of the video, comics legend Chuck Dixon, who actually created Bane, by the way, hence the thumbnail, is not very impressed by that, and he has some very strong words. And I saw this on fandomwire.com. So let's get into the headline here. And it says, DC Comics legend vows. Now that's that's strong right there. He's vowing to never watch DC movies after James Gunn's underwhelming DCU slate. He says the only big thing he was involved in is Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, well, you know, is he wrong? It says here, James Gunn's DC reboot has raised a number of questions, and fans are questioning various decisions, such as ending the Snyderverse, replacing Henry Cavill for the role of Superman, and many more. Among those people was Chuck Dixon, who expressed his opinions on James Gunn's reboot, and he had a lot to say. Now, guys, Chuck Dixon, for those who don't know, and your comic book collection is trash, Chuck Dixon is the legendary DC Comics writer, and he is the one who created Bane, the Batman villain, along Graham Nolan, and rejuvenated Firefly. He has written for a variety of series, which includes Batman, Robin, and Nightwing. Now, he's known for his fast-paced action writing style, creating compelling and dynamic storylines. And of course, that's true. I have several of his stories, and I've always found them to be deeply satisfying, to say the least. All right, so let's get into what Chuck D had to say. Yo, Chuck, man, I don't think they're ready, man. I think they're gonna break down. Yeah, boy. And Chuck says, base. No, Chuck says, well, it kind of looks like a mixed bag to me. I got to wonder if Gunn's proposed list is for real. Is it a wish list? Are these things actually going to be put on a schedule? It seems like an ambitious list to me. Seems like a lot of stuff. It seems like he's going to be writing a lot of it. I mean, if he writes all the things he says he's going to write, he's not going to be leaving the house anytime soon. I'm sure James Gunn is going to have like takeout brought to the house by several young boys and all that stuff. I don't know. But anyway, but I got to wonder, this is Chuck Dixon going on. But I got to wonder, is it just pie in the sky? Is this just a wish list? He reiterated. Some of the things seem extremely underwhelming. I agree. Like Waller. Who wants to see Waller? What is that about? Now, I understand that Viola Davis is, big time actress. She's a big name. She's won Oscars. She's won Tonys. She's won Grammys. She's an EGOT, right? What does the E stand for again? Wait. Ego. No. Okay, she's got that too. That's the Emmy. That's the Grammy. That's the Oscar. That's the Tony. EGOT. She is. So I'm not taking away from her. She's very, very talented. But Waller, guys, really? Who wants to see Waller? Waller. I hardly know her. So anyway, it says here, quite frankly, I don't care. He says some of these things seem to exist only to check boxes. I know you don't want to hear that, but I don't care. I've never seen a DC-based movie that I've liked. Ever! And I don't think I'll ever see one. Okay, all right, look, Chuck D. Is that going back to Richard Donner's Superman? You know what I mean? Like, you've never seen a DC movie that you've loved? I have to disagree with that part. I mean, you're dumping on the Snyderverse, too? You don't like that either? Wow, Chuck D. And now... Okay, he says, I don't see one that I've liked ever, and I don't think I'll ever see one. And now that they've moved far, far away from the source material, I really just have no interest. Now, of course, this goes back to what I was saying with my brothers, my loving brothers, on the Dark Council, where, yes, they have moved away from what I believe DC was founded on, which is the fantastic, which is the sweeping adventure, the otherworldliness. But listen to what else he's got to say, because this is a very good point. And this also goes to how I feel about Marvel and what they're doing, especially with the Black Panther title. Check this out. He says, the choice of Gunn to basically be the basket they put all their eggs in. I don't understand it, given his track record. Yes, he had enormous success with Guardians of the Galaxy. But if you look over the rest of the films he's been involved in, it's okay. I mean, they earned money. They weren't blockbusters. They weren't huge. Really, the only big thing he was involved in was the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. And while I feel a lot of his stuff is entertaining, over time, you kind of see the notes coming. I'm kind of familiar with his repertoire. I don't see how it's going to translate to DC, and I don't understand why in an industry like entertainment, where everything is about conservation of risk, you would hand over everything to one guy. And of course, he's right. You do see the notes coming. You do see the repertoire. You could say that with Zack Snyder as well, with the slow motion. You can say that also with the other guy who does all of the explosions and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? It is that way because much of what they're in it for is vanity. I've said this over the years. They see this as a vanity project. You get people who are not really committed to the source material and to the characters. They feel like they're the star. The writers and the directors and the actors are the stars, which is why we can't get a recasting of T'Challa, because they've convinced you that only Chadwick Boseman can play this role, like the characters haven't been there forever, which is what Quentin Tarantino was talking about before. There should be no bigger stars than the actual character. Spider-Man, Captain America, Superman, Batman, those are the stars, and if you're not honoring that, you're really not doing a good job. And he goes on to say, now, I understand there's other films in production that he won't be involved with, but the idea is, as I see it, is that once all of those films are finished and released, everything coming out of DC in movies and television is going to be Gunn. All Gunn all the time. I just don't see how you can take a slate like that and have any hits. There's no diversity of thought or approach. Everything is going to be seen through the lens of one guy. For some reason, I don't think James Gunn is a Louis B. Mayer. I don't think he knows what the audience wants. And now he's going to wrap this up in a big way because, like I said, this ties into how I feel about the whole Black Panther not casting thing. The other thing that I find perplexing, this is Chuck D going on. This dude is cooking, so back away from the oven there. The other thing that I find perplexing is that so much of this new material is going to be based on relatively new comics. Boom! This is what I'm talking about, guys. Now we're getting into the meat of this. Here we go. It's based on relatively new comics that appeared within the last decade or so. These are not core, basic DC properties or stories. Of course they're not. Waller? You know what I mean? Creatures of commando creatures, whatever it is. I don't know what the fuck that is. I never heard of it. These are like recent reboots, reiterations, or reimaginings, and that's fine, except they're not comics that sold particularly well. They're not record breakers. They might have been among the best-selling things at DC, but that's kind of like saying, well, this turtle came in first in the turtle race. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not going back to the classic. It's not going back to the classic material. It's not going back to material that I think is going to find a universal audience. So for me, it's both concerning and I don't care. I really don't care. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. That man has touched me in all the right places. Touch me, baby. Drive me crazy. Touch me all night long. All off key. But you guys, I'm in a state of euphoria because this is the point that I've been trying to make. And as far as Black Panther is concerned, this is what I'm saying. For everybody who's like, well, Suri, she was Black Panther in the comics. Well, the comics are recent. We're talking about legacy. We're talking about the things that made these characters immortal in the first place. The source material. That's what has endured through all of these decades. So why would you take stuff, reboot them, swap and gender and race change everything, throw it back out there and think you're going to get the same magnetism, the same appeal that these timeless characters have gotten over the years? Chuck D, you are right, my friend. This is what I am talking about. And this is the problem. And this is what you can see coming with the DCU under James Gunn. If they're not careful, you're just going to throw a bunch of stuff out there, assuming that it's actually going to see the light of day, and you're going to pray and you're going to hope that audiences like what you're doing and what you put out, never mind what has always been there in the first place, what they came for in the first place, what they have loved for their entire lives and generations. So guys, this is the part where you can get in the comment section and let me know how you feel about what Chucky D had to say. Chuck Dixon, a veteran in the game, you would think he would know out of anybody. You think that his opinion does matter, but this is what's going to happen. Whether he likes it or not, the Gunverse, whatever you want to call it, the Gunniverse, the gun fire, misfire, I don't know, but it's going forward no matter what. So, you guys tell me what you think. Do you think what he's saying has any weight? Do you think there could be some problems on the horizon? You think he's being short-sighted? I mean, James Gunn. Get in the comment section and let me know, guys. As always, thank you. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for enduring. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I appreciate it. I will catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.